So we're going to talk about injuries, and more to the point of them being actual injuries in terms of tissue damage, or just aggravating something and the body becoming sensitive to whatever it is you've done. And also the things we associate with it. Now, quite often we get people coming in and they've been doing something in the gym or some form of exercise that they would normally be doing on the regular, and the classic, they've pinged their back. Or the other one we get a lot of is, I've woken up, can't move my neck, I think I've slept funny. So it's usually unlikely that it's the activity or the event that has caused it, unless you've had a trauma there and there is a mechanism. So you've had a fall or an accident of some description. It's probably not the event. So if you're ever in the gym and something goes ping when you're performing an exercise, it's probably unlikely that it's the exercise, unless you are trying to lift or perform far beyond your means and way beyond your capacity in terms of what your body can handle, which, let's be honest, most of us are not. Most of us are training within those realms of what we're comfortable doing. It is probably more likely the events, which can be days and weeks on the lead up to that happening, to that event. It's just the last thing we associate with it. Now, exercise of most descriptions is in some way a stressor on the body. So if your body is already stressed and fatigued from the previous events, you're coming into the gym, you're loading your body up in some way, you're adding more stress, the body just says no. Usually something's going to go into spasm, you're going to irritate something, and all that's happening there is you're going into protect mode. Your body goes into protect mode, muscles go into spasm and lock up, you can't move, you can't do any real damage. So what we need to look at are the events on the lead up to that. And usually the things that are very overlooked are usually the basics in terms of lifestyle and recovery. So we need to look at hydration, nutrition, stress levels, and sleep. If those things aren't as good as they could be, or we've had periods where they aren't as good as they normally are, all those things inhibit your ability to recover well. Those things, and including illness, if you've been ill or you've been recently ill, all those things have the ability to temporarily reduce your capacity. So in terms of what you would usually do in the gym or exercising, that capacity and what your body can handle has actually been reduced. So if you're coming in and continuing to try and train or exercise at that level, chances are your body just doesn't have the capacity at that time to handle with what you're giving it. So next time you do have an event or an episode like that, just bear those things in mind. Take the time just to sort of retrace your steps and understand why it probably has happened, rather than associate that last thing with why it happened. Because through that, we breed that fear and potentially avoidance in certain movements, which ultimately on the flip side can make you oversensitive, more protected around the things you're doing, which can then in turn increase that pain. So it's, as I said, it's probably unlikely it's the actual event. Take a look at those other things first before you start jumping to those conclusions.